Hello, storytelling. Wrong. I'm gonna do a little political rant thing here. Okay, so what's happening right now is that the left wing media is trying to do some sort of hey, we're gonna be more open. We're gonna move a shift to the right a little bit. We're gonna you know, do a piece with Trump. So what's going on? And what I'm worried about is this, and this is something that Trump failed at in his first term. He kept saying the snake poem, right? At his speeches, at his rallies back in 2020, 7 years ago, or 2016, and then he got elected. But he didn't follow through with this, and he said this poem everywhere, the snake poem, and it's the story. It's a story similar to the parable of the scorpion and the frog. The parable of the scorpion and the frog is a fable about a scorpion who asks a frog to carry it across the river. And the frog's like, I don't want to carry across, you're poisonous. And the scorpion's like, you fool, I'm not going to sting you, we're going to both drown. But stings the frog anyway, dooming them both in the river because he paralyzed the frog and then they both drown. And that's, of course, obviously the story about the farmer and the viper in the Aesop's fable, where the farmer feels bad for the viper, helps, and he's freezing or whatever, warms him up in his coat. And of course, the viper bites him and they both fall and die in the cold. Trump kept reading this poem about that, and then this is the snake and more modern version of whatever, but the same thing. And he didn't listen to it because he tried to compromise the Democrats, and then he fell for Brick's and Fauci's ridiculous claim that millions were going to die in this COVID thing, and he did the lockdown, and that ruined his last year right before the election. They did that. They do that to every Republican, by the way. They did that to Bush. Paulson came out with the whole mortgage crisis, and then required Bush to do all these shutdowns right before the election, right? They do this at the end of every Republican's election. There's a huge crisis. The economy's horrible. They create a crisis to destroy the Republicans because that's who they are. They're snakes. And I love them. I'm a Christian. I love the enemy. I love these people. I hope they're saved. I hope God will waken up some of their eyes, and some I've seen miraculously have changed, like Russell Brand is awesome. That's a great story. And I've seen some others shifting, Elon Musk and all that. So it is wonderful to see, but I'm going to tell the truth. The truth is they are snakes. The Democrats, the left, are snakes. And you know what? I like that the Democrat Party exists. Evil has to go somewhere. I'd rather evil be out in the open, saying what they want to say, having a seat at the table of democracy and politics. So that's fine, but they're evil, and you cannot trust them ever. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I came across his post here, Benny Johnson, about about this and about Joe and what's her face going to Trump, going to meet him at Mar-a-Lago and saying, we need an open dialogue, we're sorry, and they did this whole thing about explaining themselves, and of course the reason they're doing it is because their ratings have plummeted. And in the video they say that Trump was really open to dialogue and talking to them, and I'm like, man, they're the snake. Now, does that mean, I hope Trump is polite with them, does give them a listen, but knows they're still the snake. They're gonna bite and they're gonna poison you. They're gonna doom us both. That's what evil does. It dooms everyone around them, including themselves. And I like to say this to people that are really like heartbroken or being distraught from others in their circles. The wicked, the worst thing you can do for the wicked, or the worst thing that can happen to the wicked, is they get what they want. Okay? So when you see someone get something from you and they did it wickedly, the worst thing that can happen to them is they succeed at it. If that's any comfort to you. So when people see that about others that are winning or whatever, and they did it through nefarious means, their end is nigh, or whatever. Their end is going to be bad because they're getting what they want, and that's the worst thing you want as a wicked person. Okay, so and there's that. I already went through that. So this, and then of course, then this morning I go to Not the Bee, and this comes up, and I was reading it. The collapse of the left wing media. I mean, at least for a little while, they're gonna. But see, what they're doing now is they're mutating, they're camouflaging their evil, and coming out with a new tactic to try to win over people. They're snake oil salesmen, right? They're snake oil salesmen. They're snakes and they're snake oil salesmen. They're trying to figure out a way to pretend that they're moving to the right, more open, more tolerant. Oh, we got to learn from this. Evil's not going to learn from it. Now, what is my solution? My solution is constantly tell them the truth. All right, if you're pro-life, I'll start listening to you. Start supporting pro-life, pure pro-life, marriage between a man and woman. Start listening to God's laws, honoring the father and the mother. Don't commit adultery. Teach those two things. I might turn and say, I'm interested. Other than that, they're not going to do that. They're going to start talking about all these other academia, elitist things. They're never going to get to the core. Value human life. They're never going to get to that. They're never going to value human life. That's the issue. They're never going to do that. And God has placed that as like the awesomeness of how simple bearing fruits. They got to bear fruits before you can even trust them. I would just be polite to them, be nice to them, but don't give them the time of day, that you and I have, and Trump. I hope Trump doesn't go in there and interview, because they're going to be that snake, that scorpion. They're going to convince him to put them in his bosom, in his jacket, warm them up, and they're going to bite. They did that on his first term. They bricks. She's an evil woman, and Fauci, an evil man, came in and lied to him, saying all these people are going to die. They took a crisis and took it to they knew they could ruin his 4 years, and all these benefits came out of it. Changing the election system without legislation. That right there made the 2020 election null and void. And they know it, and they don't care. And everyone knows it, but they just won't talk about that. You cannot change the process of the election through appointed officials, bureaucrats, deep states. You have to do it through legislation, through the people that were elected. So they changed the entire process during that in 2020, so that all these fake ballots, and that's still residual today. I really didn't. I'm kind of surprised that Trump got in, because of how much corruption is still allowed, and we still allow. We all still allow so much corruption. The voter ID thing and all these. California, they're still counting ballots. That is hogwash. That is a lie that they're saying it takes that long. It takes that long because they're lying. They're carefully measuring out how many fake ballots they can count to win certain areas. They're looking at the balance of where they want things to win without causing too much obviousness in their deception. The entire reason you have a one-day election is to hurry it up, vote, count the votes, say the results. That way, no one can really cheat. Or at least very difficult to cheat, because you don't have the time to get fake ballots into the right areas without going over the total amount of ballots that are in that area. You know what I'm saying? You don't have time to cheat when they do like a one-day thing. That's the reason you do a one-day thing. Paper ballots, and you have like 2 or 3 different people counting each section and confirming with each other that they all counted the same amount of ballots. And it happens so fast that they can't cheat, because if you cheat, people can spot. Whoa, there's like how come we have too many? They don't know how many to put in if it's one day of counting only. Right. So Brian Stelter and all these people calling Trump Hitler, that right there, calling Trump Hitler, and now wanting to do an olive leaf to him is so. That's such evil, right? The deception there. We wanted to destroy you. We wanted to get you killed. We wanted you to die because we called you Hitler. We were hoping some crazy would do that. We hoped to facilitate that. But since you succeeded, hey, here's an olive leaf. We want to really open up to you. That's what's going on here. These scorpions, these snakes. Again, I don't hate them. Don't hate them. I feel sorry for them in the end, for what's going to happen to them. But I'm going to read through some of this, comment on it, and try to go through it quickly. I'm going to go. So this is a great article on, not to be about just the discernment of all this is what's going on, but what I want to go to is this Brian Stelter is created. He's going through this thing. I can just see him sitting there, got nothing better to do, huge paychecks. He's got to do his thing. He's got to do his sting, his scorpion thing. He's got to figure out a way to create a power for himself again without revealing who he really is. He wants death. He wants sexualized culture. He wants perversity. He wants all these things, but he doesn't want to change that. He just wants to change the methodology. He's trying to go a little bit more moderate or to the right with his methodology, but not with his core fruits, right? So the election results. Put an exclamation point on pervasive concerns about distrust and dissatisfaction with the news media. Put an exclamation point on pervasive concerns. So the pervasive concerns were always there, but they didn't care. Now that we have the power, now they're concerned. Now they're concerned about it. Now a reckoning is underway. Well, I hope a reckoning is underway, a huge reckoning. I want you guys to, we conservatives, I think, in MAGA want you to go away permanently because you're a Scorpion. But they're chameleon too. They're looking for a way to change the way they look while still pushing. They're still going to stab Trump in the back if he lets them into Mar-a-Lago more and more. They're going to be that nice, warm viper serpent in his coat, and then one day they're going to bite him. And I wish he would not allow them in. I'm just hoping he doesn't. I know he's smarter than me. I know he knows 4D, 5D chess. I'm just going to spout what I believe, though, just because I'm sitting here in my own little hovel. Now a reckoning is underway. Media execs and rank and file reporters are wondering what needs to change. It's already changed. You don't need to wonder. So here are some concrete ideas. Wow, these are not concrete ideas. These are Brian Stelter, mealy little scorpion with his little stinger and his little fangs, typing furiously on his little iPad or whatever he's using. His Mac, obviously his iMac, his podcasts, YouTube videos, and other digital sources are ascendant, while traditional news outlets are struggling to remain relevant. On social media, in-depth investigations get ignored, while misleading memes get shared millions of times. Frankly, some journalists feel defeated. You're defeated because you're lying. It's not the memes just are exposing your lies. So, they're not going to see that. He's trying to put this sort of thin, vapid. He's being passive aggressive here. He's saying this as if you and I, are just into memes, and we don't like in-depth investigations. We don't like in-depth lies. We don't like lying memes. We don't like lies, period. And we know when there's lies. You want to kill babies. You want to murder babies and abortion. Baby boys, baby girls. You're lying to young women, getting them to, or older women, getting them to murder their children and turn into witches. They turn into witches because their shame is so horrific they have to go full throttle into it. You want women to be witches and hags. Striga, that's a Slavic term, I think. Strixa, you want them to be that, and you're like, oh, why are misleading? Why did he say on social media, in-depth investigations get ignored while misleading memes get shared millions of times? Misleading memes. He's already telling us we're liars when he's the one that's a failure, not us. Not the MAGA movement. We're about pro-life. We're about, and I know you guys, but Trump supports abortion. He supports getting the government out of the way so that you and I can figure that out. The government has been pushing abortion on children and on us, and with our taxes, he's trying to remove that. That's all we want Trump to do. Trump is not the church. Trump is not God or Jesus or us as a church and as Christians. He's getting the government out of the way. That's all we Christians need. Is for the reason the left and this evil snakes and vipers are getting their abortion and killing across America is because they're in the public schools, whereas we're not. The abortion sorcerers, the murderers, are in there teaching the girls and the boys how to murder their babies, and it's a clump of cells. Where do they learn clump of cells from? Fetus. Where do they learn that from? That's from the government teaching our kids that, and then turning them into pagans. And here he is already lying. I don't even know if I can get very far. He gets 1 million views. He's already lying. So I've got to make this video just to help a few people out there. Thank you all for supporting and watching my videos, by the way. This is going to be a long one. What can news outlets do to regain trust? I mean, I don't even know I don't even know if I have to go that much further. I've already told you they got to be pro-life. They got to be for husband and wife and father and mother, taking care of their children, against porn, against murdering babies. Go watch Rome, watch Gladiator 1 and 2. That's what we're against. Well, go watch, what's the latest one? All these pagan films revealing the horrific torture, slavery of human beings, getting rid of babies, getting rid of children, disregard of life. That's what we're against as a MAGA movement, as a Christians, as a right wing, as a white supremacist, whatever you want to call it. What can news outlets do to regain trust and appeal to new audiences without alienating existing readers and viewers? What? You're going to... Reliable sources, readers, have lots of thoughts and recommendations. I compiled some of them in this column. Okay, so that's another one I might go read or not. But I'm already annoyed. Listening to young people learn from their media habits and create content accordingly. How about news streams for center-right audiences and people who instinctively distrust politicians? Other streams could provide a civic on-ramps and relatable stories for first-time viewers. So they're trying to get to the center-right to lie to them. This is a lie. We got to appeal to them and then bring them into our lie and deceptions. So there's how can we get that audience that wants families, wants a man to provide for his wife and children? Remember, the term leadership in Christianity means service. The leader of a family, we all know as Christian men, means serving your family, being there, giving up your porn, your lusts, your selfish desires. The leader of a Christian family gives up his own selfish desires, his own anger and violence, and he provides for the wife and the children, and he dedicates his life to them. That's leadership. Pagans don't have that same term, right? That same definition. And so they always mock and scoff us for saying the man should lead the wife, while they have that destructive, exploitive, sexualized, grooming, child trafficking world that they want. And we're a bigot for wanting to serve our family. They want to meet people where they are, like right here on this platform. As Milk Carton wrote this week, social media can no longer just be thought of as distribution. Publications that aren't fishing where the fish are a lot of risk of losing market share. So you're already there. We've already found you out as liars. The thing is, before, the media didn't have competition. The information wasn't out there about pro-life issues. It was when I became pro-life, I had to search that information. It was really hard. Now it's very accessible. Thank God it's very accessible to learn about pro-life issues without Brian Stelter and CNN controlling the narrative. They don't control the narrative anymore, and they never will. So now they're trying to say, oh, we're going to fake our narrative. They want to fake their narrative to woo in young people to slavery, abortion, sexual perversity. I'm going to continually rebuke them and bring that up because they're scorpions and snakes and vipers. And I want to continually say that as much as I love them and hope that they will change. But I'm not going to carry them across the river, and I'm not going to put them in my coat. No way. No freaking way. Make content for casual news consumers and those turned off by politics. As Squirrel recently wrote, people like to consume info when it's informally presented via parasocial relationships with influencers. Can news people make the influencer leap? So they're gonna go into your foodie shows on YouTube and into your whatever else, fun stuff I like to watch. I like to watch foodie stuff. I like to watch RPG stuff that I can, Christian stuff. So they're gonna go into those shows or make shows like that, pretending to be that, and then bring in their agenda whenever they can. Like I recently just saw on here on YouTube or whatever, CNN did a thing on El Salvador's prisons, right? The prison gangs. And the president, I forgot his name, but the hardcore Christian nationalist president, retweeted it. And so they did like a 10-minute video, and I watched the whole thing where they were about the gangs and how El Salvador is much safer. And they did like this sort of nice open, video, but I could tell every now and then they looked for a problem with it. They looked for that. Right now, because they know they're on their heels, they got to do the nice videos where they're like open journalists, right? But don't worry, over time, once they get your trust, they're going to start doing that thing where they undermine Christian nationalism anywhere they can find it, any sort of authority where safety and success and morals are. They're going to undermine that and look for the bad guys and turn them into the victims again, the victimhood thing. They did that to America. They've been doing that for the last 50, 60 years. And they're going to start it again. They're going to do it within the next few years. They're going to do it very quickly. Once they get the trust of us, like as if they're open now, they're being fair journalists, Once they do that, they're going to start the whole victimization thing again, turning the villains into the empowered people. Pop media bubbles through voter interviews and focus groups, and make sure those sessions form editorial decisions and panel discussions. He is like, just the way in my silly little RPG world, create my own little worlds. That's what he's doing here. He's like, I gotta do this. I gotta create a new whole professional wing of things to do. I get it. That's what all of us do. So he's doing it, but he will never change that babies have a right to live. He will never change. He'll never go there. God says, God has put the rules down very quickly on what the evil is going to look like. And, he's going to, as much as he's going to type out myth after myth and layer after layer above it all, you got to go down to the core. Should women be allowed to murder their babies in the womb? I mean, you got to, that's stupid. No. Let's not go to your levels. Let's just stay there. Right there. Should women be allowed to murder their babies in their wombs? Right. And he's going to go on a rail. No. Should women be allowed to murder? Just, that's kind of what you need to do with your relatives and people that are hardcore left-wingers and they want to bring up that shit. Because they're going to do this. They're going to write down a ton of lists of things and spider webs, but they're never going to change that core thing. Is should a husband and wife, a man and woman, get married, dedicate their lives to their children? Should that be at the core of the laws that we make and the social engineering and the culture? There's a lot of different. No. So you're like, am I saying, am I against gays? Am I against all this? You know what? Doesn't matter. Should the core of the society be a husband and wife? If they disagree with that, you can't trust them. You shouldn't have them in the policies. Now, there's a lot of gays that I particularly like, and they're fighting sort of a conservative side. But again, I would not put them in a position of power. Just wouldn't do it. Because they don't believe in the core things as much as they're fighting for conservative values. And if they live their life, they want to live with the way they want to live their life, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm not going to have you, I don't want you to have power over me and family and what happens in society, because you're going to push that in the end. It's sad. Even I know the gays that are very strong as conservatives, who I appreciate, in the end, if they got the power, they would push things that are sinful. They'd have to. And I don't hate them, but I'm not going to, I say to other Christians, don't fall for that. We are Christian. We allow evil to exist. We love evil as far as, treating them well, but that doesn't mean you give them a position in the church, and nor do you give them a position over the culture in the laws. Don't compromise on facts, but make room for... I think I might have skipped one here. Yeah, whatever. Don't compromise on facts, but make room for feelings. Look for the deep story. Don't compromise on facts. They are saying Trump is Hitler. So he doesn't want to compromise on facts, but he's willing to say Trump is Hitler, the right wing is fascist. Fascist, by the way, is left wing. Fascism is just socialism, communism, but just with a flair of the open Darwinianism, which is left wing as well. Hardcore right wing is not National Socialist. National Socialist, by the way, is a nation of socialists who want to control the world. That's what they are. They want to control the world. The German National Socialists wanted to control and conquer the world because they were better than everybody else. That is still left wing. The extreme right wing is the Amish. Okay, I've ordered Amish popcorn because it's really good. I like it. It's made over there in the Amish country. I don't think, not necessarily about Amish, but the extreme right wing is the Amish, Quakers, whatever. That's the extreme right wing. Limited government, separation of powers, Christian morals. So solicit questions from readers and viewers, right, and actually follow through with answers. Digital tools allow for two-way communication instead of media's typical one-way top-down approach. Answering questions put the audience wants and needs first. That's just him being ridiculous. I mean, like lying. I'm going to answer your question, but in the end, I'm going to betray and sting you, and we're all going to drown and die in moral depravity. So build trust beyond politics. As long as Trump keeps repeating lies and stoking controversies, the press will be seen as hostile, forced by many Trump voters. As long as Trump keeps repeating lies, which he doesn't, they keep repeating the lies, and stoking controversies. They're stoking the controversy. He's saying, stop with the controversies. Stop with it. Voter ID. How about that? What lie is he repeating with voter? We want voter ID. What lie is there in wanting to identify everyone that votes with an ID? Black people can get IDs. They do get IDs like everyone else. They have a freaking ID and so it's a repeating lie to say that blacks don't have IDs. Then that's why we're racist. That's the repeating lie. To say minorities don't have IDs. Bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm swearing, but damn. I'm just using one of many, Trump's repeating a lie that voter ID, we need voter IDs. They're repeating the lie that we don't need voter IDs. That's amazing, isn't it? We don't need to identify who you are. We want to identify who you are when you come into the DNC. We want to identify who you are when you apply to a job for us, but we don't want you to identify you when you vote for the leaders that will control and tell us what to do and create laws. By the way, every law is a death sentence if you don't follow it. Every law. If you don't follow a parking ticket, it's a death sentence. So for people that scream about the Old Testament and how thou shalt be put to death, a parking ticket, if you don't follow it, you'll be put to death. If you disagree with me, you're lying to yourself. Try fully not following that law, a parking ticket, right? If you don't pay for it, what happens if you resist that? They're going to, come take your car, your driver's license? What if you resist that? What if you resist that? They're going to come and arrest you. What if you resist that? Every law is a death sentence. At any point in that parking ticket that you comply is you having to comply with the law. If you resist it fully, like any other law, it's a death sentence. So what he's saying is he wants deceivers to vote and create the laws. He wants deceivers who don't have IDs to vote and create the laws. That's what Brian Stelter wants. The press will be seen. The press is hostile. We see them as hostile because they don't want voter ID. They are screaming at us for being racist because they want deceivers to create the laws that can kill us, that take away our rights and kill us and enslave us. That's what they want. He's just a liar. He's a scorpion. As long as Trump keeps repeating lies and stoking controversy, he is stinging right there. He's trying to kill Trump. But the press will be seen as hostile force. Not will be seen. You are seen. You are. It is known. It is fact that you are a hostile force to the Trump voter. Why is. But folks who don't believe or even bother to read those stories might still read coverage of, say, sports or business. Okay, so he wants his agenda to go into football, sports, and business, and we've noticed that. And that's where I come in. That's where I, in the role-playing game world that you see up here, creating a Christian role-playing game that is the games are exactly like other role-playing games, except that I add in what they have removed, which is that the church came into the medieval world and changed the world for the better. The church fought evil, and the church fought paganism, planted. There's the adventure stories right there. The Christians came in, the monks, and set up monasteries and churches all across the medieval Europe, fighting paganism, confronting the evil monsters and myth and whatever, and that's what this is all about. Converting the people forcibly or peacefully, whatever it is, doesn't matter because they're evil. The evil of sacrificing children. This is spread throughout the entire medieval history that you guys don't know about. And, the younger generation doesn't know this. Slavery, gladiators. Gladiator is the brutal killing of each other for entertainment. The church stopped that. The church stopped slavery across Europe and then eventually across the world. The church did this. The church gives us the human rights. It stopped torture. The whole medieval torture device is a sham. It's a whole 18th, 19th century, entertainment, faux entertainment thing they did to prance around like the church and the Inquisition were torturing people. They were torturing people, but they were using like very careful methods to get very careful information out of them, like waterboarding type stuff and all that. But they were not doing all these weird devices and Iron Maidens, all this crap. So I'm going off on history here. The church changed the world. He wants his agenda to go into sports and business to get rid of and to push out the Christian faith, right? So if Brian Stelter and CNN get sort of more and more power like they did into football, they're going to remove the prayer, the God, all that. They want to get that out. I was watching the last game yesterday, and they do. There's a tradition now that I think what's his name, Tim Tebow started, where the football players, both teams, come into the middle and pray. That's freaking awesome. And every now and then I try to get a shot of that, or try to see if they show that, and they do once in a while. They showed it last night a little bit because they were doing an interview with the quarterback, and you can see the guys gathering to do this prayer at that 50-yard line. It's so awesome. I wonder if there's someone who posts those, like who gets people to show footage of that, because both teams, you see both teams go out there, it's like a handful of guys on each side, 10 and 10 or whatever, maybe about 20 guys or so, but they go out there and get on a knee and pray together. That is like, that right there, think about this, if that was encouraged more, both teams come out and pray at the end, everyone gets a love and mutual respect for each other that way, the team, so that they know not to like get too angry with each other. We all get a little boiling angry, but that's an awesome thing to do and promote. But Brian Stelter, CNN, wants to go into sports, and they're going to make a rule. This is their snake thing. They're going to make a rule that you can't do that. That's how they are, right? They have football coaches in high school. They're making it so it's illegal to pray with their players. When I play football in high school, we prayed at every game, before every game. We prayed with the coach. Totally fine. Like, everyone was like open to this. Like, it was a thing. Now, not all of us were Christian. Not all of us were good people, as far as our football players. We were all crazy, but we still did it. We did it out of I don't know. It was a wonderful thing that we all did. We all put our heads down, prayed. Really, it was a public school, and it was the norm. The norm. And I remember as a kid when I first went to elementary school, I remember we prayed. Then they turned it into a moment of silence, and I thought that was really weird and sad. Even though I wasn't really a Christian, I still liked the prayer thing. Then they turned it, and this is a public school, because they had prayer in public schools. So they're erasing that history. Brian Stelter doesn't want you to talk about that. Then they changed it to moment of silence, and then they got rid of it altogether. Because moment of silence was so open and wonderful and nice. See, that's the thing. That's the snake. There was prayer to Jesus in public government schools. Then when I was a kid, I remember it went to moment of silence because they wanted to be open and caring, and then it just went away. See, that little steps of the scorpion there, stinging until they get into your skin and kill you. And now the public school system is crap. Don't get me started. My coffee's cold already. Darn it. I'm gonna hold on to it. Cover the tumultuous info environment as a story in its own right. Filter bubbles and conspiracy theories should be an actual beast. Filter bubbles and conspiracy theories should be an actual beast, Stengel wrote. Last week, outlets should aggregate the content that their own readers and viewers are not seeing. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. They're just we got to control things and start small with local news. As Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Will Bunch recently wrote, the war to reclaim reality begins there. No, the people have already reclaimed reality. They've gotten it away from you. The people on YouTube that I watch, like Cash Jordan on New York City, is doing a bunch of about the illegal immigration. He's really good, and I really like what he's doing. I used to like New York. I really liked it and wanted to move there and live there. I went to spend a whole summer there with my daughter, doing her thing. She did a show there, and I was the chaperone, and that was pretty cool. I went there many years before that. My wife worked there, and I was hoping like she'd get a job there as her fashion director, and we'd go back. But the fashion industry's, ever since the lockdowns, it's been utterly gutted. Anyway, so they want the war to reclaim reality because we've already reclaimed reality. We've reclaimed reality because of the memes and the individuals doing it without you and us, going to Joe Rogan or going to Benny Johnson or going to individuals. And I watch a lot of individuals who are Cash Jordan doing their own things without you, Brian Stelter, controlling them and lying and being that snake and serpent, creating new products, distributing news. This guy, man. Okay. And of course, let me go to some responses here. Maybe stop doing this. The Russian okay, this is cool. I know this guy. He's on Breitbart. Trump told, I just saw it right now. Trump told people to drink bleach hoax, right? That's a lie. Oh, I can't see the whole thing. I think it's getting cut off. Hamas hospital hoax. They lied about how Hamas uses the Islam believes in, like pagans, believe in using women and children to die, to get murdered and killed, so that they can hold up the dead babies as their sacrificial thing to gain more power with the media. And the media, uses it as well. The media uses the babies and the murders that Hamas holds up to get killed in those wars for their agenda. When the Israel defends themselves and fights back, they are an army in uniform. Hamas is not in uniform. They don't come out. They hide in the hospitals and schools, and they hold the babies and children up to get killed so that they can use them. And Brian Stelter will be the first to run there and shoot the camera on the dead children wonderfully to give Hamas more power, because he's a serpent. He's a viper. What's the best? Scorpion. If reelected, Trump will execute people hoax. The 900,000 kids hospitalized with coronavirus hoax. Dozens of environmental hoaxes. The Alpha Bank hoax. Libs of TikTok murdered non-binary teen hoax. The Aaron Rodgers Sandy Hook truther hoax. The bloodbath hoax. The Biden Sharp as attack hoax. So, oh, is there more? Oh, Trump told people to drink. No, that's it. Okay. Russia. Oh, wow. It's even bigger. Springfield bomb threat hoax. Trump called for Liz Cheney to be executed hoax. Violent crime down under Biden-Harris hoax. Arlington cemetery hoax. Kamala was never America's border czar hoax. Yeah, they literally said she was she's the border czar. Then when she was campaigning, she was not the border czar. They said that on CNN literally. Russian collusion hoax. That's hands up, don't shoot hoax. Jussie Smollett hoax. Covington kids hoax. Very fine people hoax. 7 hour. Okay, so this is it's on and on. What they're lying about. Be less like Brian Stelter. I'm going to go ahead and heart that one. Our black-owned media. Okay, that's an ad. Good thoughts, King. But, I've read a million of these post-election media reflections, and not once have I seen anyone admit that the reason trust in media is low is because the media is almost cartoonishly partisan, burying or whatabouting stories to go against their, I think narrative he's going to say. Cartoonish burying or whatabouting stories that go against their agenda while hyping and exaggerating, or in some cases outright lying about stories that advance their preferred narrative. And that trust in media might increase if it weren't constantly under the impression that we were at least being spun, if not outright misinformed. Let me type in, they are scorpions. They are the serpent in the poem. They're going to always aim for the lie. Am I done here? I think I'm kind of done here. So he does another, which I shouldn't be doing or reading. The election proved the media is in crisis. Here's what it needs to do to regain its relevance. Why do we need to listen to a liar telling us what to do? We're already doing it. We're already succeeding. I guess he's telling losers what losers need to do to re-deceive. He's talking to his own people. How can we deceive now in this new level of truth that's coming out on the right side? The right has got hold of the truth. How can we pretend the truth, get in there, lie to people, and start lying to people again, because that's what the scorpion's going to do. They want to get into your jacket. They want to get on your back as you cross the river and they want to sting you and kill us both. They worship abortion. They worship end of life choices. They worship death. They always worship death, and they are even at the point too where they're celebrating abortion. They want to celebrate Satanism and abortion and all this stuff. I don't even need to read any more of this, right? Okay. First, recognize the scope of the problem. Mainstream media outlets have been losing public trust for decades, particularly among Republicans, but also among Democrats and independents. Alternative sources, often lacking any semblance of journalistic standards, have filled some of the voids. Wow. You can't stop the passive aggressive. That's the worst. I hate, passive aggressive is so the worst. Lacking any semblance of journalistic records. We don't want that. The best journalists were the ones that went out and just did it. Have filled some of the voids. There's that guy who on YouTube, I don't even know his name, but he does documentaries on going around to small towns and stuff like that, and they're an hour long. They're pretty cool. I watched a few of them, not a lot, but a few. But those are really cool. And smartphones, social networks, streaming services have introduced almost an infinite amount of competition for people's attention. Algorithms have replaced human editors, and artificial intelligence systems have started to replace search. These are huge changes that warrant equally big adjustments by news outlets. He's just so I gotta figure it away. Here's my thing. And he's gonna go around now I bet he's going to go around with his little book and his little thing and start going and getting paid to be a consultant on these left-wing media places and tell them crap that they should, pop the bubbles. Many news consumers and a good number of journalists think national news coverage is too Washington-centric. Maybe, CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan commented last week, the media collectively spent too much time obsessing about polling. Where did that get us? And not enough time talking to people. O'Sullivan and other correspondents interviewed voters all election season long, but those conversations and focus groups should inform editorial decisions and panel discussions. But they always weigh them to the left. A few times they got shocked by the minorities dogging their left-wing agenda and narrative on their shows. So that was hilarious. But they're always going to weigh their elections to the left. And remember, I still believe that the election, even today's 2024 election, I still believe there's a lot of BS going on, a lot of misrepresenting. I don't think Kamala got that many votes. I don't believe she got close to Trump the way they're showing it. And I believe Trump got way more, but we won't know because they don't do voter ID. And I know that the Republicans this time really did a much tougher, thankfully, job of checking it all out. But again, we still don't have real counting, especially in the blue states, verifying the elections. So if Trump fails to get that under control and fails to get the states to get that under control, there are vipers, there are scorpions, whatever he tries to do, I don't know. But if he fails to get that through, like to verify in a voter ID, we're going to be in trouble still. We're still going to be in trouble because the left is going to continually push their expansion into the right wing states, into the red states. And yeah, I just hope that the youth will fight back for that. Listen to young people and learn from their media habits. Okay, I think this has gone on long enough. I don't need more of his advice on this crap. I'm just, again, got to get that across to you. They are vipers. You cannot trust them. You can love them. For God's sakes, love them. Treat them with dignity. I have family members that are of the left. I treat them, as family members. I'm very nice to them. So as much as truculent and contentious as I am on this, I'm certainly polite in person. But again, they don't talk to me about politics anymore because I will go ballistic, in a nice way. But I will go to abortion and murdering of babies and just stay there. I'll just stay right there. You know them by their fruits, not by their talk, not by all the things that they come up with, all the little stories. You don't know them by that. You know them by right there at the core. Babies. What they do with babies. How important are babies in the life of you and me. Little boys and girls. That's what's the most important thing. I don't need to go anywhere else to know where they're at that point. So remember, they're snakes. They're vipers. They're scorpions. You love them. They're Democrats, the left, Marxists. They want to destroy you and me. They want Trump murdered by some hooligan that listens to their lies. That's what they want. Gotta love them. Because Jesus said you gotta love them. That's Christianity. We're very different. We're Christian. God is in control. Jesus is in control. The Holy Spirit is in control. He's in control of our salvation too. I'm pushing a little Calvinism here. He's in control of the wicked and what they do. Yep. And you and I have to live our lives through this game of life. This is a game of life. It's a game. I know it's a tough game. It's the toughest game of all. But I consider it a game in the sense of God has created the sandbox. He's put in the good. He's put in the wicked. Have at it. Let's see what you do. And in the end, you go talk to him about it, Jesus. And the wicked will get away with their wickedness in this life, but they will not get away with their, and that's the worst thing that they can do is get away with their wickedness. Because when they go before God, I got away with my wickedness. Yes, you did. There's the door. It's very hot, but be careful, but you have to go through it. So yeah. And, pray for, I guess I'm terrible. I'm a terrible Christian. And I don't generally pray for the wicked because I think that they're the wicked and never will be saved. But Russell Brand has proven me wrong there. And my sister has certainly reminded me to chill on that. But, I should pray more for the wicked, so that they will be like Russell Brand and change and come to Christ. Remember, pagans curse people, hex them. Christians pray for them, right? Pagans and witches curse people. Christians pray for people. So I'm a terrible Christian. I need to start praying for people. I mean, anyway. Okay, so the game of life, everybody. And check out my role-playing games. I don't know if you're into role-playing games, but I'm working on that. I think I might do a Substack here at some point, but I'm like a Patreon thing. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. And the game of life. Roll holy dice. Trump, don't fall for it. They're snakes.